Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. We are doing another video on Nepenthes today because, as I said in my last video, it is a Nepenthes weekend. So in today's video I wanted to do a video on my bigger plants. I'm going to call it my Nepenthes giants. Some of these plants aren't going to be giant to some people, but to other people they're going to be huge. So I brought down a few plants that I have. Not all of them. We're not going to see them all today, or it would just be too long of a video. But I just wanted to dedicate this video to all the Nepenthes growers and carnivorous plant growers and orchid growers that have to grow in some kind of smaller container, some kind of tank, some kind of grow chamber. I don't even know how you guys do it. So with that being said, let's get started here. So this is my Mikei. I've just recently had to stake it, and it's got 5 or 6 good pictures. 5 pictures on it if you count that guy that's just coming out. And it probably stands 14 to 18 inches tall. Moving down here is my Rob Kentley eye. I recently repotted it into a good sized pot. It's got some nice pictures down there. Another nice one coming here. And it probably has about a 1 foot span to it maybe. But it's doing quite well and growing quite fast. So yeah. Next we have my Platy Chilla. This guy I repotted 6 months ago probably, but it's recently started vining, so you can see when the plants start to vine, the space between the leaves gets bigger. And look at this last one, like it's way bigger, so this thing is going to start taking off. Once plants start vining in the greenhouse, they can grow up to 4 inches a month sort of thing, because they usually get about a leaf a month on these guys. Down here is a Hamada that I recently moved out of the second shelf because it started vining, and you can see the distance between the leaves now is from here to here. So you can see that's how much, that's a 1 month growth. And here's the next one here. Sorry about the backlighting, but doing really good. Happy that it is vining. It's a male clone. I wish it was a female clone, but my female clone is getting close behind. This next one is a hybrid, and hybrids grow out of control. Hybrids are just crazy growers, so they're super easy to grow. They grow big, they grow fast. This is Glandulifera across Boschiana. You can see the little glands in it. It is an extremely sticky plant, and as plants get bigger, they get more sticky. And by sticky, I mean their glands like literally put out little dots of liquid. And the plant itself is sticky to touch. I don't like touching them because you have to wash your hands after because they're so sticky. That stickiness is very sugary, and it actually really allows the black mold to grow too. So bigger plants have a bit more mold issues. But there's my bigger plants on this table. Now this video is going to be chopped up a bit. Why don't I move you over to some other bigger plants? This area has another half a dozen bigger plants in it. Diatas. That is a Flava. Flava's about 14 inches tall. Diatas, oh, this is a Glabrata. It's about 18 inches tall. Diatas is behind it. It's about 14 inches. Jamban, you can see all the pictures behind that. That one's getting up to probably 18 inches, 20 inches tall. So it would start to have trouble fitting in any kind of fish tank or anything. We have a Mira here. It's not necessarily super tall. It's probably 8 inches tall, but it's also a foot wide. So got some nice sized pictures. They're bigger than a golf ball, smaller than a tennis ball. This guy here is my Bongso. I love this plant. It produces beautiful black pictures. They are a good sized picture to them. This one has just freshly popped, so it's very colorful. And they do all go darker like the ones that you see. But these are probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 inch pictures on them. And then the plant itself is just above, and now it's swinging around because it's on a little wire there. But this plant is, although only 6 to 8 inches tall, it's probably 18 inches wide. And yeah, it hasn't really started vining yet, but the distance is getting a little bit close, or a little bit further apart beyond the leaves, the internodes they call them. So, but getting bigger, right? If you excuse the lawn chair that's in my greenhouse, because I was just editing a different video, right above it right now is temporarily a truncata. And the truncata has got probably 14-inch, 15-inch pitchers on it. That's the biggest so far, but this plant has just exploded in growth. So there's the center of it. The newest leaf is coming up out there. And there's the last pitcher there. This is probably a 12 to 13-inch pitcher. And yeah, from side to side, we're getting into about the 2.5 foot range probably. And that is a nice big leaf coming out there. So finally doing something anyways. The last 3 leaves have just been huge pitcher jumps. 2 pitchers ago it looked like this. And now we got this one that's just starting to color up. So good sized pitcher to it anyways. Getting to be a very big plant. This one here is my Spectabilis. Now about last spring I actually was moving the plant and broke the main vine. So I made a few cuttings of it and ended up with 3 cuttings. One there, one here, and I actually traded one as well. So I have a couple cuttings in there, but it has 2 more vines on it that they go up quite high, and it's pitchering up here, and the vine ends up here. Sorry about the backlighting. It's sort of attaching to the wiring up there. But I would say on that one we're at least at a 4-foot vine on it, and it's doing quite well. The internodes again are about 4 inches, the nodes between them. So it's growing about 3 to 4 inches a month, and you know, it adds up pretty quickly. But beautiful pitches on it. We have uppers and lowers, new ones and old ones, and yeah, beautiful plant though. I love it, absolutely love it. This little puny plant here is my Glabrata. It is doing awesome. I know I showed you one, but I have a few of them. So some nice lower pitchers down here. Oops, I moved it from its little spot, wherever that was, and now it doesn't want to stay up. Too bad. Stay there. Another little lower pitcher, a few hangy ones, a nice Basil Chute. The Basil Chute's what's producing the lowers, because if we go up, we have one half-ass pitcher there, and we keep going up and up. And we look at the distance between the nodes here. We're at probably the biggest distance yet. We go up, we have some upper pitchers up here. Nice uppers. We're getting into some newer growth there. Some pitchers just forming up there in that one. Excuse the light bulb. It's not in use right now. And yeah, it's going up to the ceiling. I can just reach the tip of it on my tippy toes. This is about a 7.5 foot ceiling at this end of the greenhouse. So it's not completely on the ground. The plant itself is on a shelf that's a couple feet off the ground anyways, about 2.5 feet off the ground. But I would say we have about a 5-foot plant there. A very happy little 5-foot plant, and I'm just going to plan on letting it vine across the roof of the greenhouse. Why not? It'll get plenty of light. This one I recently transplanted, and I have repotted a whole bunch of them this year into bigger pots because they grew so much. So it's now in a 2 or 3 gallon pot, and this is my Ventricosa. Grows really well. It has a number of basils on it, and it's quite bushy too. Let's just back you up a little bit. It's quite bushy, a couple feet across. Then it goes up. These leaves up here were yellowing. I think before I moved it, before I repotted it, it was right next to the Spectabilis I showed you a few plants back. And I think it was just getting entirely too much light. So there's this period where the leaves kind of are yellowing from the light. It also had a bunch of bloom spikes this spring and summer. One's still going, and it's getting nice and green again because it's not getting blasted with so much light. Nepenthes live here and there in the greenhouse. Some take lots of light, some don't take so much light. But looking at this guy from the ground, he's sitting right on the ground. We have at least a 4-foot plant there. And why don't we swing you inside the warm side. This is my Ampullaria. It was one of the last ones I repotted as well, and it's kind of stopped growing due to repotting. Now, I mean, it hasn't grown for like a few weeks. I think I repotted it probably in June or in May. This is not the Ampullaria. This is just Hirsuta crossspatulata, but it's pretty big too, hanging down there. But that's not what we're here to see, because that's didn't get put in the pile for the biggest plants. But as you can see, it does have some big pitchers, so why don't we look at that guy. It's probably only It's kind of hanging down, but it's probably a 8-inch vine and a foot and a half across. Good sized pitchers on it though. I'm just trying to look for some ampullaria pitchers. I had all of them were like nice and trophy when I repotted it, but they're all kind of deciding to die at once now due to I'm assuming repotting, but it'll start up again, so it should be fine. And right back here, this one I moved here in the spring, so it's really starting to take off again with some nice new leaves over here. And there's the tip of the vine, a little bit taller than the ampullaria. This is probably getting up to the 5-foot mark, and that is my Rafflesiana. All I know, the latest picture of it is right here, growing in with my Telepogon flora. Just kind of landed in there and grew. At least it wasn't too huge, but pretty plant anyways. So, beautiful plant, but there's a few more that are good size. Good size plants, for sure. Well, we might as well look at this guy. It's not my first Nepenthes I had, despite it being so big, but it produces so many wonderful pitchers. I have trouble like cutting it back or getting rid of it. This is Nepenthes Miranda, and right above it is my bigger hybrid, the Boschiana, Glandulifera cross Boschiana. You can see on this latest picture, remember I was saying how this is a very sticky plant? Look at the nectar coming out of the glands on the pitcher. Very, very sticky plant. It drips the nectar everywhere and gets kind of, it's sugary, so it gets black soot everywhere. Just from touching this pitcher here, my fingers are now sticky. But anyways, my Miranda has countless vines. I would say there's between 4 and 8 vines coming out of this pot. It's a good 3-gallon pot in there. It's that white pot, and it goes up quite high. This shelf is just over the 6-foot mark, and it's going up beyond that. And then it's going right up to the roof over there. It's funny how fans go slow on camera. That thing is actually going really fast. It's right up to the roof, and you can see a pitcher sitting on the shade cloth up there. It also carries over. I'll unzoom you a bit. And goes sideways, and it's actually going lower down because the peak of the roof is going lower. And it's sort of settling in front of the air conditioner with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers if you count that one. Just in front of the air conditioner. A couple pitchers are sitting on top of the air conditioner. They're way beyond my reach up there. But yeah, another one just popping here. This thing just sort of does its thing, and yeah, between that and the Glandulifera Boschiana that's right here. Again, I don't want to touch them because they're just so sticky. That these are 2 monster plants. They grow well in here because of the high humidity. If you had them in your house, I don't know what your pitchers would be like, because I mean, again, kudos to you, because it'd be really hard to get them to pitcher. There's a Glandulifera Boschiana pitcher. If you look in there, they've entangled into my Hoya. There's one that's just popped. It's probably looks brilliant from the other side. I love them when they just pop. Very colorful. But anyways, they're just like embedded into the Hoyas up there. And let's move on. Alright, I totally missed this one. This is another hybrid. And this is Hamada cross Platy Chilla. These are uppers. Looking quite well. They've been here for a while. They've been here for so long that there's more forming above them. One just popped and another one is about to pop. Being it's summertime now, the pitchers are actually smaller because there's more light. But that plant actually starts down here. You can see the nice little pitchers on it. And these are from the basil shoots that are coming out this year. There's quite a few basil shoots. Then we have the woody stalk, and then it gets into a few yellowing leaves up here. And then it bends out in front of us and almost over our head and goes up and around and ends up there, resting against that 2x4 at the 7.5-foot mark. Not a huge plant because it's up 4 feet to start with, but by the time you unbend it, it's probably 4 or 5 feet long. And this was another one I repotted this year. There's 3 plants here, so we're going to have to kind of distinguish between them. This is my Sanguinea. There's a nice picture starting on that one. I'm sure there's some other pictures right around here. Here's my Sanguinea picture. Nice plant, full of basils down here. The basils themselves are probably, I don't know, 18 inches tall, 2 feet tall by 18 inches wide. And then its main vine, which is right here, has formed lots of uppers in the past. It's actually, this is bamboo stake is part of the plant, well, part of the pot. You can see a little upper forming here on my Sanguinea, and another one up there just out of reach. And the vine kind of loops back down, and then it ends up right there, kind of doing its thing. It's touching the roof up there. So that guy's about an 8-foot plant, but doing really well. Look at this, all tangled up. There's a Sanguinea and a Sibuensis, Spectabilis pitcher. And we'll move back down one more time. Try not to do it too fast. This is my Sibuensis. And believe it or not, that is, well, it's 2 feet tall, 2.5 feet tall, 1.5 feet, 2 feet wide anyways. And that's just my Basil Chute. There's a few new pitchers starting down here. Pitchers last forever, but they only get a flush or two a year. There's a smaller one down there off the basil. There's a great big one forming here. To give you a little bit of size, I'll put my hand down there. So it's a good size and it hasn't popped yet. But anyways, beautiful plant. And it has no uppers right now. It did in the wintertime. But this woody stalk here is my Sibuensis. And it goes up and up. And it's getting really bright. The sun's coming out. Well, it's kind of one of those funny days. And it keeps going this way. And it's going up there. It's way above my head. It's got a spike on it too. The spike itself is probably 2.5 feet long, but there's my Sibuensis up there. So it's doing quite well. I like it. And we're not going to go all the way back down because this is our last little plant here. And all of this in here is everybody's favorite Ventrata. So I've given a few measurements to give you some scale. I've told you the roof on this low side of the greenhouse is about 7.5 feet. So that is the Ventrata up there, and it nicely grows under the thing. And each 2x4 is 2 feet to give you a little bit more scale. And it continues along here, and continues along here, and past the Glabrata, and over the door. And it's about to enter the warm side of the greenhouse. It has a magnificent pitcher. I mean, I'm never impressed with Ventrata, but this is an impressive pitcher. I just love it. It's one of those drippy, sticky plants too. You can see goo on it. But yeah, and so that's, I don't know, a 10-inch pitcher on it. Very nice. It's like right under the misting system that sprays this wall, so it's very humid over here. And yeah, I'm just going to tuck that one, although it's curled back around, I'm going to tuck it through and into the warm side. And then that vine is going to go from growing highland to growing warmland, and we'll see what happens there. But anyways, that is a Nepenthes tour of my Nepenthes giants. I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for watching.